Memories of my brother Donald. Don was born November 17, 1931, at the Libertyville Memorial Hospital, Libertyville, Illinois. He was the only one in the family to be born in a hospital, and Richard and I could only peek through a window to see him and our mom. At the time, we lived on the Moore farm. Don had beautiful curly brown hair, which didn't get cut until he was almost 2 years old. When he was about 5 years old, he saw an earlier picture of himself and asked, "Was that when I was a little girl?" He was a kid who was into everything, and Whitney sometimes called him a nuisance, short for nuisance. One time he was playing with a funnel and either lost or broke it. It was a bright, shining fall day, and he decided to hide to avoid responsibility. Logical for a 4-year-old. He hid so well that the whole farming community was looking for him. Men on horseback in the cornfields, others looking in the cisterns and the water troughs, others along the gravel roads. He was gone for several hours, and my grandfather feared that he had been kidnapped. The Lindbergh baby kidnapping was on many minds in those days, and the sheriff was called. It turned out, after a long nap on the breech of a wagon in the machine shed, Don woke up and wandered out to see what was going on. Like Holly says, a Rockenbach can sleep anywhere. We moved to a farm in Bartlett, Illinois in 1941. Don went to a one-room country school nearby, and the teacher boarded with us. That wasn't the best arrangement for Donald. He would rather be hunting and trapping. He did pretty well with the trapping. One Christmas he gave me a tanned possum hide. The folks had given me a possum fur coat called a chubby. Don's hide was used for hat trim, for cuffs on a sweater, and finally, 60-plus years later, as a cat toy. Then we moved to Kabul in 1947. Don and I both went to school. I taught 3rd grade, Don was in high school, and that's when he met Esther. We both lived at home and occasionally went to town together. One sultry summer night, we went to the carnival and Don wrestled a carnival wrestler. "Stay in the ring for 5 minutes and collect $10. The poor man died of a heart attack, but we still collected the $10. What a memory. Don visited us in Bartlettsville, Oklahoma in 1952 when our son Paul was born. He said he wanted to see his new nephew, but of course he needed help with the college term paper too. When Don became an over-the-road trucker, he'd drop in when he was nearby. One time when we were living in Willow Springs, he dropped in. It was an icy winter night, and he decided it was better to visit Sis than to keep the truck on the icy road. In the early 60s, you can imagine what Highway 60 was like. After 1961, we were living in Kirkwood, Missouri. Sometime in the 70s, we met Don in Las Vegas over a President's Day holiday. Las Vegas was fun, but it was a thrill to see Lake Mead and Hoover Dam in the moonlight. I didn't set out to write a biography, so I'll quit with just these earlier memories.